Hey guys, I'm Sheryl with Off the Jacks, and we are down here at Sema 2018. And when I said we were going to show you some of the hot cars, we have one here that is so hot, they named it Cherry Bomb. So let's find out about this awesome car. So, first off, tell us your name and where you're from.
My name is Jeff Spear, and I'm here with my wife Tracy from Iowa, from Hampton, Iowa, north central Iowa.
So, you've come all the way down to Vegas so we could all get a glimpse of this.
Yep, we left on Thursday. We made a 2-day drive out of it.
All right. And what kind of car are we looking at here?
This is a 1957 210 Post, just a standard old 57. Basically, that's what we started with.
Okay, I was going to say that's what you started with because this is not a standard 57.
Nope, not anymore.
And so when you got it, I take it did not look like this.
Nope. A friend of mine called me up, and he had it was just a primered black shell of a car that was raced back in the 60s and was sitting in a barn, and he found it, he purchased it, and was going to restore it, and found out what it was going to cost to restore it, and decided to sell it.
And you decided that was just the project you needed.
That was what I was looking for. I was looking to to build a gasser, and this was a perfect candidate.
Okay, now one of the things I want you to know is about the paint, because this paint is so amazing. First off, the red. You were telling me about how this is so sparkly that it belongs in Vegas, that's for sure. So how did you get this red and that sparkle?
It's got a red base coat. Then we put down a clear coat, or real heavy clear coat with the red metal flake, which is 12 pounds of metal flake in this paint. And then we laid 10 coats over the top of that to be able to block sand it, and blocked everything down smooth. And then over the top of that, there's 6 coats of ultra clear. So 16 coats of clear to cover up the glitter.
Holy smokes. Yeah, the sparkle on this I haven't seen before, and let me tell you, I've seen a lot of sparkle. And now your little gal here, this is not a decal, guys. This is painted on, correct?
That's correct.
And who does this?
This was done by Joey. His nickname's Taz Henschen out of Cincinnati, Ohio. Really nice guy. We come to meet him last year at the Tri-5 Nationals. We were looking to get the car done last year, did not make it, which was a blessing because that's how we met Joey. We walked up to his booth and asked him if he's interested in doing a car. And he asked what we were doing, and we told him we're building a gasser. It's going to be red. And he asked, well, gassers have a name. What are you going to call it? And that was my wife's job. She said she was going to call it Cherry Bomb. And his eyes just lit up because his daughter was sitting right there, and her eyes lit up. And she had the red ginger hair, and that's her nickname, was Cherry Bomb. So we hit it off right out of the chute.
I was going to say, when the little girl's happy, everybody is.
That's right.
And now he also made sure your sponsors were on here.
Yep, everything on here is all hand painted. There ain't a sticker on the car.
Okay, and who are your sponsors? Because I know you wouldn't be here probably without them. So
no, we are here by just very honored to be here for Wheel Vintiques, which is a vintage line of the old school wheels, which you can see are the chrome reverse on the rear and the front. 15 by 10s in the rear, 15 by 6 up front, and then also with Coker tire, which we have the Firestone cheater slicks in the rear, and the bias ply 15 by 7-inch wide up front.
And so you're ready for me to jump in and take off in this?
If you'd like, but we might get in trouble. We're not supposed to start them here.
Oh, okay. Now, one of the cool things is, he's got red windows, which I love those. The red tint just adds to it. And we want to see the interior, and I love this. Oh, yeah. So you've done some special things in here.
Yes.
Go ahead and tell us about some of that.
Roy Christensen and his wife Mary from Plymouth, they are the car builders. They've built it prior. They did a 55 Chevy for us, and they've just done a fantastic job with this car. Roy, the roll cage and everything here is all hand built out of chrome moly. We made it hinge open just like a door because I'm too old to climb over it. And from there we went, if you can see the gauges, they're all Frenched into the dash crease up front. We used the stock cluster. We used all autometer phantom gauges. We used the low car shifter. We've got the low car pedals. We used all the low car linkages in there. We ran with 67 GTO bucket seats, hand built all the bases, the I Did It column. This car did come with a back seat. It was thrown in the middle of the car. We had it all upholstered to match. About a week before we were ready to go out to nationals, went to put it in the back seat, and we have no idea what that seat fits, but it's not this car. So one of the
You didn't want to bring company anyway.
nope. So we turned it into a two-seater, which has been pretty cool because now it houses our two nitrous tanks. We just put nitrous on this last week, 300 shot of nitrous.
Oh, wow. And you also have, he's got LED lighting all in here, man. It looks like a freaking Christmas tree. What's not sparkly outside is really bright inside. So, I want to know the engine. This is what people are going to want to know about. This is also very handy how he does this.
And the front hood and fenders are all steel. They're all welded together. We put our own framework in there, but I wanted it to look like the hood would open when you walked around the car because there's no side pins, there's no cut off at the fenders. So this was all Roy's and myself. Roy designed this front, and it slides forward 7 inches, and then it tilts. So that creates the illusion that the hood would open.
Oh,
A lot of late nights figuring out the geometry of this.
I was going to say it, and you have to get around everything too.
Yeah.
Oh, look at the
Just
lights.
there's the corners. It's got a time delay on it, so you got to start it over on the remote. It only goes so long.
All right, here we are. Now that we've got to see the cool hood going up. I mean, that to me is just something. And you've got more lights under here. Tell us about this bad boy.
This started out as a 454 Chevrolet motor. It has been bored out 60. It's now 468 cubic inch. I wanted it old school, so we did not choose to go with aluminum heads or cast iron heads. All the good stuff inside. It's a roller motor. Then I had the 871 blower sitting in my office for over 8 years, deciding on which project to go with, and this is what it ended up in. So we got that on here. I went with quick fuel carbs, and then, like I said, up until just last week, we put the nitrous oxide on it.
And how fast would this go? If I got it out and just put it to it, how fast do you think you could get this going? Not safely. I'm not talking about safety-wise. I'm just saying all out going.
Well, I don't know about time-wise, but we did dyno it. It runs 700 horse on pump fuel. This thing you could pull up to a gas station and put 91 fuel in it and go. So that's what I wanted. I didn't want anything special other than the nitrous, which you can do that separately. So, but yeah, it's a 91 fuel car, 700 horse dyno.
It would get me going.
It would get you to the grocery store really quick.
I was going to say I can get to the grocery store faster than anybody else. So the remotes are something I thought were cool. I mean, we've saw the door pop. Then you've got the hood. You can also work the windows in the trunk with that.
Yep, everything's all remote control. Yep.
And how much of an issue is that lining up? I mean, to me, the door is one thing, the windows are one thing, even popping the trunk. But to get this hood lined up with everything, is that a major undertaking, or am I just not familiar with it?
There was a lot of geometry involved, and to get that to slide first and then tilt, and it was a lot of trial and error and getting things to fit and come back, and you can get it to fit even in a rough stage, and then once it was all painted and put together and putting it back the last time was still more adjusting because it never goes back the way you took it off. So.
Right. So this is one beautiful car, and we're going to have we're going to get a little closer video with it too. So is there anything else or anyone else you need to make sure you mention? Because I don't want you to go home later and get in trouble for not mentioning someone.
Well, the motor was all built by Grauman-Beck's Racing Engines in Mason City, Iowa. The transmission was done by Amco Transmissions in Mason City, Iowa. And we got a gear vendor overdrive behind that. And it actually has an old school Pontiac Olds rear end in it. And we have all the goodies inside of there. I mean, this car is able to race, but we'll probably never see a racetrack other than maybe an exhibition run of some sort maybe.
All right. Well, thank you very much for showing us. I mean, this car is beautiful, and you guys are going to want to make sure you check this out. Share it with your buddies. Okay, now we needed to show you the back end of this car too, because, well, it's changed up a little bit. Everything on this car, I'm telling you what, is thought out, and it follows the name of the car. And they put a little extra work on it. And to make it even cooler, can you pop that trunk for me? Oh, snap. So even the trunk is extra special. So while we're back here and before we get close, I want to make sure you get to mention everybody that was involved in making this car what it is today, because if we leave anyone out, you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, I don't want to be in trouble. So we had Grommenbeck's of Mason City do all the motor work. We had Amco Transmissions of Mason City do the transmission work. We've got Wheel of Antiques, and we've got Coker Tires. That's my sponsor. That's my ride here, which thank you again, guys. This has been an amazing ride. Never been here before, even as a spectator, so I'm just in seventh heaven here. We have on the back here, we've got the guys at JT Machine, which is our business. What we do, the guys all help with all the engraving and the ball milling, CNC milling, and all the laser engraving on the car. Special thanks to Roy and Mary Christensen. They're the ones that actually built the car for us. And then we've got the sketch pad, which is Joey, nicknamed Taz Henschen. He's the one that's done all the lettering. Even with the girl in the back, since it's the ass end, it's got her skirt flying up in the wind. So everything's kind of all fits. And then in the back, he even did all the talking about the car, all the parts inside. So.
And that's all hand painted.
There ain't a sticker on this car. Everything on this car is hand painted.
Yeah.
Even the numbers on the side of the window, my buddy Dan Duffy, real good friend of mine from Georgia, I asked him, I said, what number should I put on the side? And he said, well, duh, 567. So that's why we got that on the side. So.
It is an amazing car, and I am so glad you brought it. So I hope you all have enjoyed it just as much. And be sure to subscribe. We're going to have more videos. And I have a feeling we're going to see this car back here again next year. And you're in Iowa?
We are from north central Iowa, yes, the town of Hampton.
So you guys up there, I'm sure you're going to watch for it, because I'm going to try to talk him into taking it out and running it down the streets to the grocery store every day.
It'll do that.